Need help with your homework? Kathy from Leominster emailed in, do I have to seal my concrete pavers? Well, there are two reasons I would recommend sealing pavers. The first is for protection. If I'm using them for a driveway and I want to protect them against oil or grease stains, or for a patio where I may be worried about food stains where I'm going to do a lot of entertaining. The second reason is for aesthetics. Some sealers will give your pavers that wet look, which brings out the rich color of the paver. If you like the way your brick looks after it rains, then seal it. Welcome back to Homework with Hank. Well, up to this point, we've been talking about planning, buying, and installing a hardscape project around your house. But maybe after all of that, you've decided, you know, I really don't have the time, the ambition, or the talent to do what we've all been doing, so you want to hire somebody. Well, it's very important to get the right guy. And I've got the right guy here, and my friend Sam Rosario from Liberty Construction Company. Sam and I used to work together on the BBB. We know all about how you hire the right guy, so I says, who better, Sam? And you probably recognize him from hosting on the Jordan. He's an occasional Jordan Levy substitute there. Yep. So I know the man knows what he's talking about. Sam, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So, how do I go out and hire a contractor? What's important?
Well, what's important is to start off with homework. Just like your show is the Homework with Hank. You're going to start off with your homework by checking a contractor's principal place of business. Instead of asking the worst question, which would be, do you have insurance? One of the questions you should be asking is, give me a copy of your certificate of insurance.
Good point.
One of the worst questions you can ask a contractor is, do you have any references? Do you really think that that contractor is going to give you the name of a person that doesn't like him? You should be asking the question is, give me the name of the next job that you're working on, and then go see that job and see how they do it. Did they start on time? Did they finish on time? Asking a good supplier like yourself and saying, who's a good guy out there that can do this small job, or we can do this big job?
Because a lot of times you're right. We can help kind of eliminate the wrong guy for the wrong project.
Right. And if you've never heard of them, then they probably have not been in this area. They don't know anything about them, or they're just starting out. So one of the things you should do is your homework definitively with looking at who the contractor is. How long have they been in business? Where is their principal place of business? Why is that important? Because if something goes wrong, you want to be able to find them.
Okay.
So
no
one thing,
fly-by-nighters in the back of my pickup truck, kind of.
If he has a cell phone number for his main number, that might be a problem. So you need to build a relationship with a contractor and find out a lot about him, because he's going to be working on your home, one of the largest investments you have.
And how about portfolios? Are they important? Not important? What do you think?
What's very important is the scope of work. When you're hiring a contractor, detail, detail, detail. If they say something, it must be in writing. The more detail you get, the better. And it should have manufacturer's warranties, manufacturer specifications. There should be all of that provided to you, no matter what project you're working on. Additions, kitchens, windows,
it sounds like a lot of homework, isn't it?
It
to
is
make sure
lot.
You get the right guy up front.
Absolutely.
Once I kind of picked a guy, or maybe I found 2 or 3 guys I want to compare them, what should I be asking of each one of these contractors?
Well, you know, it's funny. One of the things that we should talk about is the myths in home improvement. It's one of the biggest myths I see is that you can't share an estimate with someone else. No, that's unethical to share an estimate. That's not true. That's a very big myth. The scope of work is the most important part. What are they doing to define it? If someone's putting in a patio paver and they're doing no gravel underneath it, they're not giving it a good base, that's going to be a bad job.
Right.
What you want to know is how much of a base are you putting down? What kind of gravel is it going to be?
So the contractor should lay it all out step by step.
Absolutely, and should list the materials, list the name, the manufacturers, not just put down, hey, we're putting in a patio in. That's where you make the biggest mistakes, is that you assume that the contractor's giving you the right information. Don't ever assume, of course. You want to make sure that it's in writing, clearly and specified. You need to make sure that you know more about them than they do about you. And that's where a lot of consumers go wrong, by always going with, let's say, the low-price contractor.
Right, it doesn't always come down to price, does it? Or the old adage, you get what you pay for.
Well, but the adage I say is the price doesn't matter, because how many consumers do you know that said, man, I would have paid twice as much to get better service.
Yeah.
But you don't know that until the end of the project.
And in that contract, what else should be specified out in there? How about a payment plan?
A payment plan is critical. You should never pay a contractor in full before the work is completed. There's, building permits if it's necessary to pull a building permit, and most retaining walls that are greater than 4 feet require a building permit.
That's right.
Most people don't know this, but again, your contractor should be the one to tell you, and then you should verify it with the building department to make sure that you're doing the right project.
And it goes without saying, check your references with things like the Better Business Bureau or Angie's List or something, just to make sure.
The price isn't, the price doesn't matter. I say it again, I'll continue to say it, the price doesn't matter, but it will matter once you've evaluated the differences between one contractor and another. Yes, you can go out and hire the most expensive contractor. That does not mean you will get the best job.
The best job.
And you could hire the cheapest contractor. That doesn't mean you're going to get the cheapest job either. So you have to take a look at it as a consideration of everything. But if your budget is restricted to a certain amount of money and all of the budgets are coming in higher than what you've expected, then maybe you should not do that project. Wait till you can afford it, then do it the right way the first time. Or find ways to break it up in pieces.
Into
smaller bites, right? Yeah. Because you could always add more pavers onto a patio.
That's right. You can always make it grow.
You could always make it grow.
Well, that's all very good advice. It is very important to do it right the first time, as I've said, all right? Hardscape projects are things you only want to do once. It's not wallpaper or paint that I can change 5 years down the road. I want to do it right the first time. And if I'm going to hire somebody, I want to make sure I hire the right guy. Well, Sam, thank you very much for coming in today, for giving us that. We've talked about a lot today. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, wrap it all up. You're watching Homework with Hank.